YouTube, what is going on, y'all? All right, man, today's video with Warzone 2, man, now 5 days away from dropping. We're gonna get into what I think could be the Warzone meta, man. A couple classes that I paid attention to while I was getting my long shots. You know, weapons that are really suited for the little bigger style map, right? Good damage range, easy to control recoil, things like that. Let's not waste any time, man. Go down in the comments, tell me how excited you are for Warzone 2. My excitement is out of this world. Let's see if we can predict the Warzone 2.0 meta. All right, man, first on the list, this is pretty much a lock for the first Warzone 2 meta, man, and that is the M16. Believe it or not, man, I am absolutely lying to you. You know, I'm just playing, man. This M16 is probably the worst gun in the game. So let's get into the real stuff. All right, y'all. So first, I think this is, in terms of an AR/LMG, right? I think all of the snipers, I think it's going to be like early Verdansk days where people were rocking a sniper and remember it was the HDR and the MP7 when like Warzone first dropped, because nobody really knew the map. They were all just feeling it out. So snipers were really prevalent. People were playing a lot slower. I think it's going to be pretty similar on Al Mazrah, but if you want to switch it up, I think this is going to be the best fully automatic ranged weapon option. This thing is ridiculous. So when I was doing all my long shots to get to start unlocking the polyatomic challenges to get platinum on all my weapons, that is when I was paying really close attention to which guns seem the best at range, which a lot of the ARs have like extreme damage range drop-offs, and so do the LMGs. Some of the LMGs do as well, but this RPK it was slapping from range, and it has really decent recoil to control. And the thing about it is you can kind of turn it into an AR and make it mobile. That is why I'm putting this one above the other LMGs. The RAL LMG is also really good, but I would say that the RPK, because you can turn it into an AR with the 30 or 40 round mag to speed it up a little bit, give it more of an AR mobility feel and still keep that damage range, I think that is going to put this thing above all the ARs and all the LMGs. I think this will be our first fully automatic meta. Now, obviously, these bots don't have the 250 health, which I think is what we'll have in Warzone 2. But as you can see, where the recoil is really manageable, it's pretty much straight vertical, which is always easy to control. You just pull down a bit, and the thing rips. All right, y'all, so another weapon that I think will be extremely viable in Warzone 2, man, is the Lockman 5.56. Now, this thing does not have the range, the damage range that the RPK does, but this thing pretty much has no recoil. I think this is the easiest recoil to manage out of all the ARs. This thing is a laser beam. And obviously in Warzone, you want to be able to hit consistent shots at a decent range because a lot of the fights end up starting pretty far away. I definitely think this thing is a pretty good option. I actually really like this build I have on it right now. Now the classes are definitely subject to change. I don't know what attachments are going to be the best or anything like that, but I think this is a good starting point. This thing shoots very straight, man, and it's got a good fire rate too, so it'll be a little forgiving. Now, I definitely feel like it would just be plain disrespectful if I didn't mention the M4 in this conversation. Now, I do think the Lockman has a little bit easier recoil to control, but again, with the unbelievable amount of attachments in this game, and on top of that, the attachment tuning, I feel like that people are gonna find ways to make every gun just about as a laser beam as possible. Again, these classes are just kind of like starting points. This is just kind of what I was playing around with when I was doing my long shots to kind of like get a feel for what I was going to be starting with in Warzone 2. It's probably all going to change because nobody really knows yet. But the M4, first of all, let's appreciate this polyatomic camo, because golly, this camo is sexy. You kidding me? But yeah, so the M4 built out like this, it's still nasty for sure. But I think the Lockman at this long range was a little easier to control for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I put the Lockman above the M4, but the M4 is still probably going to be a great option. When isn't it? You know what I'm saying? All reliable. And then last but not least, in terms of the fully auto primary weapons, man, is I mentioned it earlier, the RAL LMG. Now, this thing is extremely slow, like extremely slow, but I think this thing keeps its damage at the furthest ranges. Like, this thing has crazy range. It hits very hard. Like, I feel like when I was doing my long shots, I was deleting people with, like, I felt like this gun had no damage drop off whatsoever when I was using it. And it definitely has more recoil than the RPK in my opinion, but it's not terrible. The recoil at range isn't awful. It's got some random bounce to it every now and then. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Whereas the RPK is pretty much straight vertical. This one kind of bounces side to side every now and then, which isn't always great for consistency. But again, this thing hits so hard though. But the only thing is, like, you see how slow it is. It's unbelievably slow. This is a big ass gun. That's the only downside to it. That's why I don't have it that high. But if you're playing a bit slower, which I'm sure we're all going to be playing pretty slow when the game first drops, this might be the option, because this thing is pretty nasty. See, at range, it's gross. It really is gross. Now, I don't know. Again, everything here is what, 100 health. These bots are 100 health. This is still multiplayer, so I don't know how much health we have in Warzone 2, but it looked like the OG Verdansk days where it was 250. That's what it looked like from everything I've seen. But again, all of this is subject to change. Like, I'm just making my predictions based on when I was getting my long shots. Now, in terms of subs, man, I don't know if there's that many great options. I think there's really only two that I would say: the Vaznev, and the Fennec. Man, this Fennec. The Fennec zaps people. The only thing that worries about me is the fire rate is so fast. I don't know if 45 rounds is enough if you're playing like if you're playing quads or trios or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you burn through this crap so fast because the fire rate is insane on this gun. But that being said, this thing zaps people. This thing might be the best sub in MW2 right now. Like, bro, this thing kills so fast. The only thing is that ammo. You go through it so fast, but as you can see, bro, you zap people with this gun, and the recoil is not that, like, it doesn't have that much recoil at all. So I do think the Fennec is going to be pretty solid. Gonna be a super solid option for sure. And then, like I was saying, the Vaznev is another super solid option in terms of a sub. This thing is kind of like a do-it-all. Doesn't have a lot of recoil, got a decent range, and it kills pretty quick up close. So this is like, you can use this as sniper support type SMG. Again, man, all this being said, can all change. We don't know until we actually get our hands on the game. And it seems like with the way the loadouts work, you can only buy one gun from your from the buy station. So who knows what you're gonna want to pick. I definitely feel like for the first few weeks or like month of the game, people are gonna be rocking all the snipers. All the snipers are really good. Even though it didn't look like the bullet velocity was great on Al Mazrah from what I saw, from when I saw all the content creators playing, like, it seemed like you couldn't even one tap to the head. So I don't know if snipers are gonna be the play, but I do think a lot of people will be using them at the very beginning, just kind of getting a feel for the map and how it plays, kind of like how Verdansk was. Yeah, man, those are all my predictions for what could be meta or at least viable weapons on Al Mazrah. Go down in the comments, tell me if I missed anything, tell me what you guys think, tell me if you guys found any crazy builds that you think might transfer over to Warzone pretty well. Yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.